In today's video, I'm going to be diving into a wife of noble character from Proverbs 31. I'm Rebekah with Learning Together by Grace, Homemaking God's Way. Let's go. In Proverbs 31 verse 10, it says, "A wife of noble character, who can find one? She's worth far more than rubies." So I am going to be talking to you explicitly about being worth far more than rubies. In the New World Dictionary of American English, this is the third edition that I am reading from. Yes, y'all, I am bringing it back old school, getting the definitions from an actual book dictionary. It says for a person that is noble or just noble, the definition of that is having eminence, renowned, fame, etc., illustrious. But then there are more definitions that go a little bit further. It says having or showing high moral qualities or ideals or greatness of character, lofty, having excellent qualities, superior, grand, stately, splendid, magnificent. And so, as we listen to these particular definitions, we can see that a wife of noble character is going to be someone who has a very stately presence about her. She's someone that has value, someone that has worth, who has great ideas, someone who works well with her hands, someone who is intentional and busy about caring for her family. In today's society, one thing that is pushed is that women can have it all. And the way that I personally look at it, because I am definitely a woman who has done all of the things. And honestly, I'm going to continue to do the things. So in today's society, we are, and honestly, I can't even just say that it's for women, it's for men too. But I'm explicitly speaking about women and wives in particular. And so we are about this hustle bustle life. You need to chase the bag or the money or what have you. You need to get out there and you need to make a name for yourself. You need to get out there and you need to make sure that you're present and that your voice is heard and you are known and so forth and so on. One thing that I think about with that is that that begins to become a part of your identity. If you're constantly chasing after these accolades, constantly chasing after doing better than what you did before, and constantly chasing after, let me go get this degree and let me go get this other degree and so forth and so on. Now, I want to make a note here, y'all. There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing all of those things, but really it boils down to your mentality in doing these things. Now, with myself, when I first started going to school, I really had this idea that in order to be successful, I have to have a college degree. In order to be successful, I need to have a good job that makes just as much money as my husband or as a man before I got married. I need to be the perfect mom, the perfect wife, the perfect churchgoer. I need to be perfect. And that became my identity. Now that I'm 43 years old and life has lifed, y'all, I have to be honest with you. Those things aren't as important to me as they were in my early 20s, late 20s, and even early to mid 30s. A lot has happened during that time frame that has really changed the trajectory of my life, one, and has really changed my mindset on being a woman and what that entails. One thing that I am understanding about myself is that first and foremost, I am a daughter of the Most High God. I'm a daughter. And because I'm a daughter, and in his word, he says that I am the apple of his eye, I'm already enough. Already. And I think about the Bible verse that says, before I knitted you in your mother's womb, I knew you. God already knew me. So I already had purpose. I already had inside of me what I needed to live this life, and live this life as a wife and just a woman of noble character. And so, as I'm preparing breakfast for my husband, because he's getting ready to go to work, I'm doing my part as he's about to go do his part. And I know sometimes we get in this ideology that, well, a woman shouldn't be the only one that's making the meals. A woman shouldn't be the only one that's caring for the children. You're right and you're wrong. And I say that because you're right, because yes, my husband can cook. And guess what? Whenever I just need a break from my job, if you will, he gets in there and he cooks. And I've also trained my children to be able to do the same thing. Everyone in the house knows how to clean. Everyone in the house knows how to do what I do. And so it's not even always a matter of that, but also this idea that as a woman, as a wife, that I'm doing way more than what my husband could ever imagine doing, because I'm home with the children, raising them, and so forth and so on. One thing I think about is that when my husband asked for my hand in marriage, he promised my dad that he would take care of me. And one thing that I can say is that my husband has held to that standard. I've worked on and off. I've been sick many times, bedridden many times, and my husband took care of me. He would go to work. He would leave the house at 5 a.m. and not return until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And he would come home and he would take care of me, and he would take care of the children, and he would take care of anything else that needed to be tended to. And so I also look at the fact that my husband has financially provided for me for the majority of my marriage. And for me, I don't take that lightly. I've spoken before how I had this independent woman mentality. I got to take care of myself. I got to have my own money. My dad, he really raised me and my sisters to really be independent, y'all. So it has been very hard for me not to. It's been very hard for me to allow my husband, to just take care of me financially and in all kinds of ways. And y'all, I want you to understand, with my relationship, with the finances, my husband has always trusted me to handle the finances. I budget everything. I spend the money on all the things. So it's not a matter of him lording anything over me. And all of the accounts are, with the exception of one, because this was an account that we've had issues with him being able to put my name on that account. But all of the accounts, I'm on them, all of them. And I have just as much right to the finances as he does. What's his is mine, and what's mine is his. When I was working and I was bringing in money, it was the exact same thing. Everything went into the pot, into the same pot. And we took care of everyone. And so one thing that I have learned over the years, be it me bringing in money or me not bringing in money, is that my husband and I have a trust relationship. And it started off with us being friends first. We had to know each other. We actually met each other when I was in the 11th grade and he was in the 10th grade. And we were friends, and it was all platonic. It was so innocent and pure. Like, we just had a good time with each other. I went off to college after I graduated. And then a year later, when he graduated, he went to the military. We lost contact. And then a few years later, we got back in contact with each other. And the Lord had pretty much been preparing my heart for him. Hadn't realized it, but he was preparing my heart for him. He had been giving me dreams about him. And then he just popped up in my life. And that's how we ended up reconnecting and coming back together. But anyway, the friendship was first. I got an understanding of his financial stability. He got an understanding of my financial stability. He knew I had student loan debt before we got married. I was very open and honest with him about that. And on top of that, I understood his income. I understood his strengths and his weaknesses with finances. He understood my strengths and my weaknesses with finances. We even talked about children, and we talked about future, like what do we see in the future? And yes, you can only plan but so much. But we did have these hard conversations because we didn't want to be surprised coming into our marriage. And of course, things have changed over the years as we've grown and matured. Things have changed, but the heart of who we are has not changed for one another. We love each other with a very, very strong agape love. And we have gone through ups and downs together, and we've been able to stay with each other through thick and thin, because we know that each other's characters supersede what might occur in a moment. And so I go back to being a wife of noble character who can find. She's worth far more than rubies. One thing that I think about in my marriage is that if I had given up on my husband when he was going through certain challenges in life, then I wouldn't be able to see the fruit of where he is now. I wouldn't be able to see the faith he has in God and his leadership to our family and direction. And y'all, when I tell you the man can pray, the man can pray. And when I tell you he shakes heaven, he opens, it's like the floodgates of heaven are open when he prays, and he covers me and our children. And I'm intentional about doing the same for him. And so, the two shall become one. I know I am talking a lot about my husband, but I think you cannot talk about one without talking about the other. When the two become one, the two of you have to have an agreement with each other. And you are in an agreement and in a covenant with each other. But you have to have an agreement with each other, knowing that no matter what, you're going to fight for your marriage, and understanding the spiritual applications that have to be in place, knowing the spiritual ramifications for your choices, being accountable for one another. And with all of that in place, it can make it far more easier to be a wife of noble character. One thing that I have also learned over the years is that I have to be a woman of prayer. And that is a part of being a wife of noble character. You have to be able to pray. You have to be able to know how to fight in the spirit. You also have to be able to confront your spouse when you see that things are not going the way that they should, or you see them doing things or saying things that are not right. And you have to be able to stand even in the face of adversity as a wife of noble character, and know that right is right and wrong is wrong. You also have to have an open heart for God to be able to pour into you so that you know how to approach your spouse. Because I'm going to tell y'all, in the beginning of my marriage, honey, I did not know how to approach my spouse. My feelings were hurt, and he was going to hear about it. He was going to know everything, attitude and all. But we'll be married for almost 19 years. And I have learned that there is a way where my husband is more receptive to me. There is a way where he will immediately shut down. As with me, the same thing. There's a way that my husband has to approach me to where I can be open and receptive. And there's a way that he will speak to me where I will shut down and I will give him an attitude. And so these are things that we've learned over the years. And honestly, it's a constant repetition. Y'all, I'm enjoying the one peach that I got from my my peach tree this year. It was so juicy and delicious. It tasted like a tart peach cobbler. But back to what I'm saying as I am nearing the end of this video. So you guys, communication is so key and so important. And being a wife of noble character is someone who is vigilant about loving her spouse in whatever situation that they are in. Having standards, because you have to have the standards, and not veering from the word of God. Because you guys, if you are a Christian lady, you have to be able to be strong enough to stand. Because men are very strong. Men are very, if they are exerting their strength in the wrong way, they are very domineering and dominating. And so you have to be able to be comfortable with confrontation and be comfortable in being strong and standing on the Bible. You guys, I hope you got something from this today. Be encouraged, because all things are possible through Christ Jesus. You guys, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I post another video. Leave me a comment down below letting me know, what does a wife of noble character look like in your home? You guys, God bless you and take care. Bye.